Calling all nerds. This is your Nerd Alert Podcast, episode 5, first time live on twitch.tv/Mr. Teenator temporarily. Soon it'll be on Calling All Nerds. We'll get that all figured out. It's the first time. We're just trying. Exciting news today, though. Obviously, we're live. Hey! Yeah. We did it.
It was awesome.
So Max and I are obviously live right now. That's the first big news. Second big news will come later. Max will talk about that later on at the end of the podcast, but it's pretty dope. It's exciting. Get pumped.
Keep it secret. Keep it safe.
So I guess since this is our first time live and we're also having a video feed, I'm just going to quickly, let's just say hello to everybody. So hello, I am Tyler. I am one of the co-founders of the Calling All Nerd Alert podcast, and this is us.
Not the show, this is us, but this is us.
Yeah. I'm Tyler.
I'm joking.
That's Max.
Yes. Hey, everybody. I am a real person, and my name is Max. My name is Max Sandberg. I am also a co-founder of Calling All Nerds, even though Tyler honestly does all the heavy lifting. He is more technologically advanced than both of us put together. So I am very thankful to him for just allowing me to live out this dream with him. It's been awesome, these first 4 episodes, and it's finally cool to do live feed and be able to do this together from alternate locations.
Yeah.
And not sharing the same mic, which is huge.
It's a big step. I also like that you describe my technical awareness as my technical awareness plus yours and more. So I'm like infinite tech aware.
I was like, did I say that right? Probably not.
Yeah, you said my awareness was me plus you combined, which if I'm more than myself, I'm like an infinite loop of like technologically advanced.
Yep. You'll find that I put my foot in my mouth many a time. When I'm explaining things, so it's great. Don't worry.
So let's kick this off like we always do with a question that I will be coming up with on the spot. Typically it's gaming related, and it'll be kind of a little bit fun since we are here. Oh, here we go. This is a good question. In what way would how do I phrase this? When you were a kid and you had your dream job, right? What is that dream job, and how in any way possible could it relate back to the gaming industry?
Oh my gosh.
And it could be a crazy, this isn't even a question. This is more of just like a weird riddle thing. I don't know.
Oh, no. I know the answer to this just because this is something that's a very huge, embarrassing story for me as a kid in first grade with a dream job. And it's completely inappropriate in an adult context. But when I was in first grade, I actually remember so vividly being asked this question in class. We had like a whole day around it. And I was thinking really hard about what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I landed on, I wanted to be a Valentine's Day delivery man. Because I only would have to work. Yeah, it sounds terrible in adult context. Like I said, this sounds like something out of like a dirty video or something. Like, I swear it's not that. This is a mind of an 8-year-old, 7-year-old, whatever. And as a kid, I just thought like, oh, okay. I only have to work 1 day a year. I get to deliver letters to people so that they know that they're loved. And I was like, this sounds great. I want to do this. It's like Santa Claus, but on Valentine's Day. And it's completely inappropriate. So I'm glad that I'm not doing that.
And so how will you relate this to the gaming industry?
Oh, no idea.
Oh,
absolutely no idea. I don't really know how to context it.
Let's say maybe you would deliver a Valentine's Day game.
There you go. Happy Valentine's Day. Here's a copy of Amnesia, a horror game.
There we go. Perfect. So
Yeah,
Max wanted to be a Valentine's Day delivery man. He's going to deliver you your video games. Boom. Job in the gaming industry. Easy, folks.
Look out. February 19th, 2021.
Let's
Absolutely
see.
not.
My dream job as a kid, I wanted to be a lawyer, which I guess that's kind of easy to bind into the gaming industry because I don't
It's a
know.
very,
I feel like everybody gets
very
sued.
a much better dream job.
Could
than
you
mine.
imagine if I had to be the lawyer during EA's first like microtransaction scandal stuff with like Battlefront? Like, remember there were like some like whole countries trying to just not like ban the game from being played in their country,
Yeah,
but like
it was a
sue because of
mess.
gambling and like because they were making kids gamble. And gosh, I would not want to be on the legal team, but who knows?
No.
Maybe my dream would have turned me into the gaming industry.
You never know. Or this might turn you into the gaming industry. I don't know. Or maybe we will both become Valentine's Day delivery men.
We might.
You never know.
We might. And the reason why I bring this up is just because there's a lot of folks out there who are always like, I want to be in the gaming industry, but I don't know how to make games. And I guess the reason why I bring this up is to say, obviously, Max and I are doing a little more of Max's is a little more ridiculous on the side of linking it to the gaming industry, but you can really like do a lot of things in the gaming industry that doesn't have to necessarily be about making the games. My background is a developer, so I've done website development, I've done database development, all things that definitely can be used inside the gaming industry. Max is a project manager. That would be the right role, correct?
Like business analyst.
Okay, so business analyst, somebody who is analyzing criteria of like what the business wants. Again, that could even be inside of the gaming industry. So just one thing of like light I wanted to shed on people is if your desire is to become into the gaming industry, but you're not making the games, don't fret. Because sometimes even the weirdest things that you do could potentially actually get you into the gaming industry.
It's you never know.
Yeah.
It could be really cool.
Yeah, so just wanted to maybe shine some of that light on. But yeah, so here we'll just kind of dive into our topics. I always like to say the titles of everything. So the titles that we have today for episode 5, first and foremost, I don't know if that was the right word. Everybody probably saw this one coming if you've been listening to our other podcasts. Cyberpunk news.
As you should.
It has been delayed, which we'll get into that. AMD has some new graphics cards. Uncharted Movie featuring Tom Holland photos and a little video of Mark Wahlberg as the new Sully. We got some Halo people leaving. Sony aiming to buy Crunchyroll for $1 billion. And then lastly, new PS5 gameplay on various games. We'll kind of just talk about some random stuff like that. But we'll kick it off. Max, Cyberpunk has been delayed again. How are you feeling?
First off, Cyberpunk. Just because I've been doing that every single week.
I like the consistency.
Thank you. I'm bummed, man. I mean, I'm very much of the mind of take your time, release the game when you feel like it's in its best performance way that it is possible. I think we see too often games that are released that are just should not have been released in the state they have been. And it's actually kind of refreshing to see CD Projekt Red really kind of up the scale. I know we talk every week about just their communication with their fans, their fellow developers, other studios, and I feel like they just really hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they're the best in the business when it comes to stuff like this. It is very much a bummer, but you can tell in these letters that they send out to the world how disappointed they are too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this is a letter from Adam Badowski, where he was basically saying like, I know we promised no more delays, but there was just no way we could do it and release this game in the best possible state that it could be on November 19th. And I really respect that. I'm bummed because I wanted to play it on November 19th.
Yeah.
It would be a great Thanksgiving game. I know we were excited for it, but I'm willing to wait as long as it takes, honestly. At this point, I don't know if it's just going to keep getting delayed. I feel like this is the most delays I've ever seen for one game
Yeah.
in a very long time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I was very, happy with the message. They were saying that, it requires, they're basically creating 9 different versions of this game for Xbox Series X, Series, S, the PS4, the PS4 Pro, the PS5, the PC, the Stadia. Like, it's a monster what they're doing. So, and I'm sure that they're still working out those bugs. It is still really cool and important to note that this game has gone gold, which means that it is fully playable. It is in a state that you can play through this game, start to finish, see all the content that they've provided within it. At this point, it really is just getting that quality bar to the highest rung that they want.
Yeah.
Because CD Projekt Red is a studio
perfection.
that they aim for perfection. Like, and I think the great thing about them is they know perfection is not possible.
Yeah.
It's just not. You're gonna have problems here, like somewhere down the line. But I'm sure they're still trying to, kind of like what we talked on a few weeks ago. They're still probably trying to figure out how not to get cars to populate on top of buildings or something like that. Who knows what it might be? But I wish them all the best. I hope that it doesn't elongate the crunch. It very well might have, but for the most part, I'm willing to wait 21 days. Like how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think so. The last part that you mentioned about the crunch, I'll definitely touch on that in a second. But yeah, I mean, I am sad. I'm not mad. I heard that some people are mad and like trying to send death threats to developers, and that crap is stupid. That's so pointless.
So
I don't get why
annoying,
people are doing that. I'm not on that level. I am upset, and part of me is like, when I first read it, I was a little annoyed because I was like, man, like another time, like should they have before been analyzing a little bit stronger to see like, should our pushback be longer than just a month? Like, I don't know. Could this have been, what is it, like remediated? No.
Handled.
Yes, handled
Better.
Yeah, could it have been like predicted a little bit stronger before? So that part was kind of just like, I don't know. I was just a little annoyed, but I'm only annoyed because I know I'm gonna love it, and I'm just excited to play it. I'm just annoyed because I think it's gonna be a great game. But I did, for a little bit, I put the note up on the stream, so if you're watching it live or watching on YouTube later on, you'll be able to have seen the letter. So one part of this, and I'll put it back up real quick. Hey everyone, Tyler here. Just wanted to take a quick aside in the middle of this podcast. We were having some internet issues to where the feed that we had from Max's laptop just totally cut out. And so we lost a bunch of audio temporarily. We were able to recover. We had to do some stuff on the video feed, and we had to kind of cancel the whole doing it from 2 places. So I just wanted to quickly come on here, explain that. So it's going to be a weird piecemealing between what you just saw and what's coming up, or maybe what you just heard and what you're about to hear if you're listening to this afterwards. So I just want to quickly say that. I appreciate it, though. Thank you guys for just kind of working with us here as we were trying to figure out our first ever live stream. It was a fun one, a lot of technical difficulties, but we made it through. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the podcast, and I will definitely be talking to you all later. Okay, psych, we're back. Plot twist.
I'm really glad that we decided to try it first in alternate rooms at the same location.
Yeah, so plot twist of this whole thing. We actually weren't in separate homes. We did this on purpose to see how it would be like in separate rooms. Unfortunately, the internet isn't down at my place, but the Wi-Fi is. So my computer is connected to the wall, but then all our Wi-Fi doesn't. I don't know, man. So this quality could be botched. I got no idea. We're gonna keep on going. Last time we were talking was about Cyberpunk, so let's continue with
I was gonna say where we stopped. You were just about to read paragraph 3.
Oh, okay. I'll reread it.
Yeah, that's when I lost you there.
I'll put it in front of us. Okay, so bringing it back. So the paragraph that I was reading earlier was just saying that Some of you might be wondering what these words mean in light of us saying that we achieved Gold Master some time ago. Passing certification or going gold means the game is ready, can be completed, and has all the content in it. But it doesn't mean we stop working and raising the quality bar. On the contrary, this is the time where many improvements are being made, which will then be distributed to a day zero patch. So it'll be given to the game the day that it launches. And so this was the time that they undercalculated. So the interesting thing was they identified what the problem was.
Right.
Like they knew that, oh, hey, we didn't accommodate for the time of raising our quality bar inside of a day zero patch. That is why we're pushing it again. We didn't calculate that time correctly.
Yeah.
So that's the part that I wondered, like, could they have done, I don't want to say better in like a mean way, but like, could they have done a different way of coming about this?
I definitely think so, but also I feel like this is the first time they've ever created a game of this scale in this type of, it's a very different game than what they've done before with Witcher.
Yeah.
You know, it's all first person. It's mostly shooter, I would say, outside of its typical RPG elements.
Yeah.
It's a much more vertical and versatile game than Witcher ever was. So I think that there was a lot of growing pains in this. I definitely agree with you that they should have accommodated for as much of what they potentially saw being an issue up front.
Yeah.
But if anything, I feel like this is a good growing pain thing where down the road, if we get a sequel to Cyberpunk, they'll definitely account for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot riding on this game.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I mean, this is the only game I think they're working on outside of, lastly, they did Witcher 3. I don't think that, they want this to be anything less than a masterpiece, which I still think it will be. I think the fact that they're putting in this extra time, it does suck. It is frustrating, but I think in the long run, it'll be better for it.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good game, and I'm excited for it. And I am now worried about the crunch, though. So you mentioned the crunch when we first brought up the topic.
Yeah.
And kind of what that means. And so I know on maybe episode 3 we talked about it. It was like 2 or 3 that we talked about the crunch
3,
time, because that's when it got brought up.
Right.
And I said on that podcast, and I still stay with that one, where to me, crunch time for like a couple of weeks, I don't find it as a big deal. But when it stays as months is when I have an issue with it. Mm-hmm. And now it sounds like it's getting to like the months.
Could be an additional 2 to 3 weeks, yeah.
And it's like, now I'm starting to get like, the crunch time, it would be rough.
Heavy.
It would definitely be heavy. And I don't know... I don't know how like developers are feeling right now. I don't know how the teams are feeling. I wonder like how morale is. Like, is team morale good? Is it? I mean, I assume there's some roughness, but like how rough? Or is there issues? Like, I have a lot of curiosity about how, from maybe a business and a team morale perspective, like how are things going?
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever know about it unless there's like a huge interview with like in depth with the devs in the company. I feel like at least from what we've seen in the Nightwire videos, this game is the baby of so many of those developers. They want it to be the best it can be. Everyone seems to have that united front. I think until we actually hear the word from the developers themselves on how they're handling all this crunch, we can only speculate. But I would hope they all have the same vision and the same unison of like, we all need to work as hard as we can to make this work. It definitely does suck that they. I can only imagine that the crunch is going to extend, and that would suck if they have to extend it over Thanksgiving holidays.
Yeah, that's another thing, right? Because most of their developers are European, though, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
So it should be okay. Hopefully, it should be okay as far as holidays goes, because I know the Americas is the only one that's celebrating that. But then, like, crunch time getting into Christmas. Like, that'll be like, if the 10th isn't the real date and it does get pushed on, now you're talking about that Christmas time, and like usually the end of the year is when people start taking holidays, because I don't know, maybe CD Projekt Red doesn't have like rollover PTO. People are trying to get their holidays in, but they can't because they're crunch time. So it's like there's all this.
It's a huge mess at this point. I feel like, but hopefully something good will come from it. Like a masterpiece game.
Yeah, I think so. And one thing, and I'll pull up the feed again for anybody who's watching the video feed on YouTube or Twitch. The second paragraph where it talks about the biggest challenge right now for them is what Max said, trying to figure out the Xbox One and the Xbox One X, compatible with Xbox Series and the Xbox Series X. We got the PS4 and the PS4 Pro, compatibility on the PS5, PC, and Stadia. So that's all on this it's all on this second big paragraph right there.
Yeah.
That's 9 different things that they now have to do, because it's not like if they're doing on the PS3 they don't need to worry about that, right? But the PS4 is still a console people will play it on. The older Xboxes are still a console people are playing on. For some odd reason, people are going to play it on Stadia, and then PC and PlayStation 5 and all that kind of there's a lot developers got to make sure of.
You mean you don't play Stadia?
No. So I bought Stadia, just for those who might not know. I did buy it because I stand to this too. The Stadia controller is dope. I like it. It's heavy duty.
Yeah, it
feels good. Everything outside of that blows. So I feel for them the fact that they have to make it look good for Stadia. But yeah, these are 9 consoles. I would say at least 3 of them are probably pretty intense, being PC, PS5, Xbox Series.
Yeah.
It's just intense stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone in the chat said they really put a lot on themselves releasing this across 2 generations of consoles.
They really did.
Yeah, that's perfectly described.
Yeah, I think that's definitely, we probably would have seen this game a lot sooner if they didn't have to account for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X release being so imminent.
Yeah.
It's kind of a perfect storm when it comes to that.
Yeah. The thing that I'm hoping then that works okay with them is the whole, we promised if you had it on Xbox old ones, you'll have it on the new gen. If you had it on the PS4s, you'll have it on the PS5. I'm hoping that goes smooth for people.
I think it will. I think that's what they spoke on in the second paragraph of for the enhancement for PS5. I think that's what they mean, is that if you buy it on PS4, you don't have to rebuy it on PS5. You can just play the enhanced version of it.
We want to make sure that's smooth for people. Yeah.
And I think that's all it's going to be. I don't think they're going to completely re-release the game in a remastered format for PS5.
Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of people who won't buy it on PlayStation 5. Because you can't get one, really. Pre-orders are crazy. I guess we'll see more in, almost 9 days, because that's when the release is. Or that's the Xbox. It'll be, the PlayStation 5 comes out in 2 weeks, I think. So we'll see how stock looks like. But yeah, a lot of people aren't going to buy it right away, and they're going to buy it on the PS4. And it's going to transition over, and so they definitely have a lot on their hands. But I applaud them that they're doing it. I think that part is really nice. So we'll just see how it goes. December 10th, that's the new date, everyone. 21 days. They announced that on, I'm not too sure when, the 28th. So a few days ago they announced it. So November 10th, that'll be it. But a little bit kind of nicer news. I don't really know. Depends on how you perceive these things. AMD didn't launch yet, but they talked about the new graphics cards.
Right.
So I've had discussions with you.
You showed some of the specs compared to...
Yeah, that was for the CPUs last time, right? Yep. We did that last time. And then I think before that, I've kind of mentioned to you how you have the NVIDIA graphics cards, you have AMD. And last episode, I talked about how they teased their graphics cards, wanting to see if what they produce can go in par with the new 30 series. According to what they're saying, it does. So that was the big news. There's 3 new graphics cards.
Okay.
So AMD, and I might have these numbers wrong, so I apologize. I'm pretty sure it's AMD 6000, 6800, and 6800T maybe. I think those are the 3 of them. And those, in the same order, correlate to the 3070, 3080, and 3090.
Okay.
So 3090 being the big dog, it's a $1,500 graphics card. 3080 being about $700, and their 3070 being about $500. So that's the NVIDIA lineup.
Right.
AMD launched, again, they didn't launch, they just announced their 6000 series compares, they did it kind of weird. They were it compares to a 2080 Ti, and I think they did that because the 3070 hasn't launched yet. And so they can't say like, oh, it compares to the 3070 because they haven't had that like testing yet.
Yeah, they can't actually.
Oh no,
that.
our stream disconnected. Dude, our internet is botched. But we're still recording, not live. So we're gonna, you know what? We might just keep going.
Yeah. Might as well keep going. We'll just post it to YouTube. And
That's right. So hello, YouTube. You're getting the full video. And we might reconnect to Twitch. Doesn't matter. Nobody watches VODs.
Yeah.
So so the 3070, those are past broadcast VODs. The 3070 hasn't launched. Its release date was Friday last week.
Right.
So AMD couldn't say, hey, we compete with the 3070 because they haven't tested it. But they said, oh, we compete with last gen's top of the line.
Gotcha.
Which 3070 claimed it competed with the last. So they're pretty much saying our 6000 series is the third. Exactly. It's just, It was the business way of doing it without, So they claimed that. And then the one that I thought was interesting was the 6800 competes with the 3080, which was the one I wanted to get, $50 cheaper. So that's kind of nice. Save $50, not too bad. And then I don't remember the price tag, which I guess I can pull it up, of the AMD. It's like a 6800. I think it's T. Oh, we don't have any internet. Never mind. I don't remember the price tag of it. I think it's like definitely cheaper than $1,500, which is crazy.
Okay.
So that's that new news. They had some stats. Can't pull it up. Sorry, YouTube. And sorry, anybody else
look
listening.
Look it up yourselves. Stop being lazy.
To this podcast. So I don't remember the price tag, but they pretty much brought out their lineup. They said, hey, NVIDIA, this is us. Right. We're going into the gaming realm a lot stronger than we have before. We're competing with you from a price perspective. Bring it on. Yeah. And so that was how all that went. So that was pretty big news. And like I said, they haven't released the cards. So there's like a lot of tech reviewers that I like to watch. They haven't gotten the cards physically, so they can't like test them or anything. They can't test it against the claims. Yeah. But I think the cards come out in a couple of weeks, at least as far as the pre-order goes. So we should be seeing some testing of these cards soon, which will be kind of fun to follow up with to see if they really hold up to what they're saying. Yeah. One interesting thing that I noted though, and last week I mentioned the new Ryzen CPUs. Yes. There was an interesting thing on the graphic that they had displayed for these where it said like these numbers are based on, it was like something about pretty much saying this is with the new Ryzen CPUs. So some people are speculating that this performance may not happen unless you're on their new like Ryzen series CPUs, potentially. So that part's an interesting caveat to where maybe if you don't get the new Ryzen 5, you might not actually get the full performance out of these AMD cards. So if you're not planning on upgrading your CPU, you might as well still go to NVIDIA. If you are, great. This is just that weird area because there's no testing. It's like, what did that mean? Yeah. Because I'm interested, but I don't know if I'm interested in upgrading my CPU because then I got to get another motherboard. So then I'm spending like double. And it's just like, I don't know if I want to go through that. So it's just a very interesting thing that I noticed. I'm hoping it doesn't mean much. I'm hoping it's like, if I shove that thing into my Intel-based PC, I'll still get good performance. We'll just have to see. And I assume all those YouTubers will test all that stuff.
Yes, way ahead.
That's their job, and they know how to do it so well, and they're amazing. And
really good money for it too.
Exactly. They got all the test benches, and they're amazing people. So I assume that'll be tested to say like, yeah, how do these work on an Intel-based machine? Cool. So that's kind of all I have on that one. I know you haven't seen too much, so I won't drill too many questions out of you, but I have a question. Okay. Based off of what you've heard about me talking about the NVIDIA and like the AMD, do you think AMD is doing a cool job? You think they're doing the right thing of trying to compete? Or,
I do. Yeah. Yeah, I think I mentioned it potentially last week, I think, but you know, I always think it's good to have competition. I think it's always a good thing for companies to try and strive to either match or exceed the performance of rival companies, because that just drives better. It drives better productivity from both companies. They're both competing to get the consumer lift. They're trying to get those consumers to buy their item. And so if AMD is that company that's deciding to kind of tackle NVIDIA, that Goliath, I think that's a fantastic thing. Whether or not they will hit that giant on the head the first time around, I highly doubt it. But I definitely feel like iteration 2, 3, they may be on par, if not better. You never know. So I think there's always a chance.
It's exciting to see they first went after Intel because they're competing on CPU level,
right?
And did they win? I don't know. I'm not going to get into that much, but they competed. They really do well. And now going after the only pretty much biggest manufacturer of graphics cards, like another thing. So they're just trying to take it all out.
The balls on these guys,
it's
AMD
insane. It's insane.
I like it. I like what they're doing. They're definitely underdogs right now, but I think 5 years from now we may be singing a different tune. You never know.
You never know.
And real quick, I just wanted to say, you're doing a fantastic job for this episode 5 go live. With all the technical difficulties that we've had so far in this stream, I feel like we're handling it really well. I think we're doing really good on this.
We're definitely doing our best. At least YouTube will see it in full feed, and we're recording it, and we'll get onto the other fun news later too. But this is probably, in my opinion, some of the funnest news we're hitting today.
I'm very excited about this.
So Max, bring us home. Who are we about to see pop up on the screen?
The one and only best boy, Tom Holland. This guy is going to be playing Nathan Drake
Hero Wars
in the Uncharted movie, which has been in development hell for the last feels like a decade now. Probably not that long, but it seems like it. And he looks good. Like he looks like Nathan Drake. Look at that. Look at that ring. Look at those awesome watches.
Khaki pants.
He looks like that's the outfit, honestly. Nathan Drake outfit. It's not that hard to make.
It got that blood.
That dust and grit. I do like that. It does. I mean, and this is all speculation right now for me. As a movie buff, I'm very excited about this. We don't really have that many video games translated into TV or into movies, I should say. At least successful ones. But the fact that they got Tom Holland on this, they got Mark Wahlberg as Sully, which we haven't. We don't have any pictures of him. No, but you just see him with the stash. I don't know how I feel about Mark Wahlberg as Sully, but they are going down this route of younger versions of both, which I'm totally fine with. In the Uncharted games, even in the first one, these are middle-aged men. Nathan Drake is probably in his early 30s in the first Uncharted game. Sully is definitely in his 50s or 60s. Silver Fox, whatever he is. And I kind of like that we're kind of taking that Sony is taking a different step in this, that they're making Tom Holland play a younger version, probably a more in his prime version of Nathan Drake, who is, when I see this picture, it kind of reminds me of the beginning of Uncharted 3. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't played Uncharted, maybe skip ahead 2 or 3 minutes, I don't know. Just be warned. There's this part where you play as Nathan Drake when he's a kid, when he's 15 years old. In I forget the country. It's beautiful. The game's immaculate, and that's how he meets Sully. It's like the part of the game that shows you how he meets him, and how they kind of start their partnership. And I would kind of love this movie to kind of be that same kind of origin story. This is how they've met. Sully kind of takes him under his wing because and I think one of the great things about the character of Nathan Drake in these 4 games is you never really know his real name. You don't know who he is. You don't know the origins of this kid. Even in the 4th game, which really kind of delves further into his youngest self, we really only see him in this Catholic orphanage. We still don't know his true name. They still go by the names of these adventurers that they've always loved. And so I kind of love this idea that we're seeing this kid coming out of nowhere who's definitely had a hard life and starting his life as an adventurer. It's going to be very interesting to see how they, and I want your opinion on how you think they'll go about this, how they'll change this on screen, because these games are shooters.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the running joke of Uncharted is that Nathan Drake is a sociopath because you kill like hundreds and hundreds of pirates in these games.
Yeah.
Because it's just the kind of game it is. It's a shooter.
Yeah.
Third-person shooter, and
a lot of climbing.
Yeah, a lot of climbing, and I think we'll see a lot of that probably in the movie. But I would really like a more character-driven, thrilling kind of adventure from this. There can be death, but I think it would be very off-putting to see our hero. It's different. It shouldn't be, but it's different. In a video game, it's kind of expected. In a movie, it would be kind of shocking and horrifying to see Tom Holland as Nathan Drake kind of just every 5 minutes shooting like 20 different like rival pirates. You know what I mean?
It'd be uncomfortable.
It would be uncomfortable. Yeah, you want this to be a hero that you can root for, that you want him to win, to find the treasure, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be vastly different, but I hope in a good way. I hope it'll be more character driven. I'm really excited about it.
Because you mentioned the origin thing, I feel like it will be.
Yeah.
I feel like it will focus a lot on their relationship in the beginning and their friendship, how it's gonna how they'll bond together. It might be like weird and off-putting in the beginning, and then it grows as like they do more stuff together, and they'll probably go on like one major adventure in the movie, find something, they'll do something like along those lines,
kind of thing.
Indiana Jones style, right?
Exactly.
You start, you do your thing, and you come back in resolution.
That's kind of what I want anyway.
So I think because of that, because they're focusing on, let's take Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg, or let's take Nathan Drake and Sully, and let's join them. I do think it'll be character driven. I think it's the only way it's going to be successful. Really,
Yeah.
I don't think otherwise it's going to be that good. And I think it'll be entertaining. I don't know if it'll be amazing, but I think it'll be entertaining. That's kind of like my expectation. I'm not going into this with like massive, only because I've seen, and it's actually kind of because of Mark Wahlberg, which I feel bad. I love him, but I've seen him in great, and I've seen him in like meh.
Yep.
And I haven't really seen him in like amazing and kind of a thing.
Yep. Yeah. It's either meh or
And I thought, wasn't he the one speculated to be playing as Nathan Drake?
At first, yes.
Okay.
But I think they went the different route, that they wanted Nathan Drake to be younger.
So that part I also think is kind of interesting, is like how they were speculating, it's going to be Mark Wahlberg. Nah, never mind. We're going to make Tom Holland, but we'll keep Mark Wahlberg in there.
Make him Sully.
And I like him. I just he's so like Jersey or Boston in his films.
Yes,
and so I'm like, and Sully has those jokes and like his character, and I think I think he can do that. I just hope he doesn't like try to overplay it or try to oversell it.
That's very true, because I agree, because Sully for me is my favorite part of the Uncharted games. I love his character. I love just that son of a bee Sullivan,
I know.
Exactly. Just like has a cigar in his mouth, a quick chuckle. He is the man who, like, you lay down your cards, you can depend on this guy. And like, I agree. I hope Mark Wahlberg does a good job. I feel like they could have picked a better actor that could have carried his charisma a lot better than Mark Wahlberg.
So it'll be interesting. I mean, Tom Holland has worked for his age, with some top tier actors and actresses. So I know like he'll be good. I hope it's a good combo between them two. They definitely play different films. You got him with the Spider-Man, but then like his more serious roles, like what he did, that Netflix one, and
oh my gosh, he was phenomenal.
Yeah, and so like his style of films are definitely different than Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
And typically when you have this combination of characters, you try to find those who are in the same kind of realm. So it'll be interesting to see how they mesh together. But I am eager. I am excited. I'm also wondering, and I don't know if this article, I don't know if this article says it, where is this coming? Where is Sony? Have they talked about like where they'll stream it? If they're just going to go on demand? And
this movie's been in so much disarray in terms of if it's actually going to happen. I would not be surprised if we don't see this movie for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Like 2022 at the earliest. I definitely feel like this is something that at least to me, the fact that Tom Holland is a part of this now really kind of speaks to me that Sony wants this to become a franchise. They know Tom Holland is a big face.
Yeah.
He's a guy that has the acting chops to pull off the characters. I really think that they want this to become an Indiana Jones style property for them.
Yeah.
Based off of these games, which honestly, Naughty Dog makes the best stories in the business. If anyone can make a good movie based off a video game, it's Naughty Dog games.
Yeah.
Heck, The Last of Us is getting an HBO adaptation next year.
Yep.
Helmed by, first off, being produced with Neil Druckmann on helm, but the director of it has done Watchmen and The Leftovers, two of the best TV shows I've seen in the last 5 years.
Yeah, those are good.
So I have no doubt The Last of Us TV show is going to be phenomenal, or at least I hope it's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I hope that Sony goes down the same track with their other series of Uncharted and makes this into a really fun, family-friendly adventure Indiana Jones style flick, because we haven't had something as good as Indiana Jones in a while, and I feel like Uncharted could be that franchise if they handle the characters correctly. You know?
Yeah, and I anticipate Sony drama. I anticipate that.
Oh, yeah.
It always seems, when it comes to film specifically, there's always the drama. We had the Spider-Man drama.
Yep.
Wasn't there like, oh no, that was X-Men isn't Sony. Who?
X-Men was 20th Century.
Oh yeah, and they had their whole thing. But I just expect some type of drama. I don't know. I could see it. You never
This
know.
movie's already had a lot of drama, so maybe we might be past it.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
But I am eager to see it come out and see how it goes. I mean, looking at these like photos and these screenshots, they've definitely got some stuff going. Unless he's just modeling,
He might very well.
which I guess he totally could just be modeling per se, but I don't know. They got some scenery going on, and
He's got the hair down pat. I'll say
he
that
does
right now.
have the hair down pat. He also has 38 million followers on Instagram. That's nuts.
Tom Holland.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Fun fact for all of my musical theater nerds out there: Tom Holland was on Broadway before he got into film. He was in Billy Elliot. He's a phenomenal dancer.
Yep.
He's a great singer.
Oh yeah.
This kid has a very promising future. Him and Timothy Chalamet are. Oh gosh, he's going to be playing the lead character Paul in the new Dune movie.
Okay.
He's done a lot of other stuff like Call Me by Your Name and Little Women.
Okay.
He's phenomenal. He and Tom Holland for me are like the youngest male actors right now that I feel like have really promising futures.
Is he younger than Tom Holland? Because he looks super young in Dune, but I don't know if that's just like the way they're portraying him.
He might be. I'm gonna look it up actually.
Yeah, because I know at least like it's
both
on my
young,
list to read.
but-
I got it on my I got a new Kindle, which is kind of exciting, and it's on my list of reading because I know you mentioned it.
Tom Holland is 24.
Okay,
Let me
and I
check
know
Timothy Chalamet.
I know at least film can always make you look. He just looks really young, and that's why I was just
They are
curious.
both the same age, 24.
He just has that younger face.
Yeah, Timothy Chalamet is he has a very.
It's very like clean and like he
Very,
definitely
like-
has like a younger face to him.
It's funny.
But it should be fun. I haven't played too many of the Uncharted games. I played a little bit of the first one. I saw Peter play the fourth one and all that kind of stuff, and I've like kind of dove into it. It's just been like I got so far along, and there's so many of them, and it's like, oh, I gotta like play them, but I gotta like play them through, and then like finding the time to play 4 games. It's like it's hard finding time to play one game,
Right.
So it'll be
They're
interesting.
fantastic. Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. And then I don't know how much you know about this one, but in other news, we have Microsoft
Yeah.
and Halo. We got some Halo news, but I don't know if it's great news.
it's not
We have a
good.
very sad podcast today.
Yeah, it's fine. You know, it's fine. So basically, with Microsoft, they just lost another top director. This is by Jason Schreier, who's one of my favorite.
You do like him.
I do. I think he's, if not the best, video game journalist out there in the business right now. I highly recommend reading his stuff. It's really, really good. But he has delved into this and found out that Chris Lee, who oversaw production of Halo Infinite at 343 Industries, is no longer working on it. He has confirmed that he is the second top director to leave the project in the past 2 years. And he has said, he has stepped away from Infinite. He's looking at future opportunities. He believes the team is confident that they will deliver a great game, and now is a good time for me to step away. We don't have to spend too much time on this. I know we're already running a little long, even after we cut out the debacle part. But it is concerning to me. The feedback that the game got was lukewarm at best when they showed video of it during their announcement, and people thought that the graphics were not up to par in terms of Xbox Series X, and
it looked odd.
Yeah,
I was a little.
It looked
confused.
like they were trying to be more old school with the first 3 games, or really even the first 2 games.
Yep.
But it just didn't look really great.
Yeah, they were like, "Look, we haven't changed," and people were like, "No change, please.
Just look dope. Make a good story, make a good shooter, please."
Yeah.
And honestly, this might be. I'm kind of worried for 343. This is their 3rd Halo game that they're doing. And they've kind of been 0 for 2. Halo 4 did not do well. And then Halo 5 even was not great. Both of the games have not been received well. And so it makes me wonder, is 343 in trouble? Because Xbox, I highly doubt Xbox will release this game unless they are absolutely certain it's going to be better.
For sure.
This was their front runner, and now it's no longer in sight. And so now it's an issue of, when is this game even going to come out? Is it even ready to come out?
Yeah.
The fact that 2 leads are leaving this project is a big red flag for me, at least me personally.
Yeah, and you can tell that they've been trying to promote the Halo series so much, because on the Game Pass store on the PC, they're just shoving it down your throat, because it's like... Oh, Halo ODST is on here. Halo 2 is on here. So they're putting all the Halo games on the PC version of Game Pass, just really trying to bring home Halo, get you hyped. But then you hear all this news, and you see the video, and you're like, well, it looked like the last Halo game, but why shouldn't it look nicer? And then you hear about these kind of things of directors leaving the project. You worry about how things are going to happen, and I don't know. It will be interesting to see. Kind of the lifespan. I feel before this generation of consoles, I would have said Xbox really relies on Halo as a thing, but I feel nowadays they're not. Their business model is so different now.
Yeah,
because they're just we don't care if you play our games. We just want you to game, or we don't care if you're on our console. We just want you to game.
Right.
And it's Microsoft, so they already got every PC player because they play on Windows 10.
Right.
It's whether you're on PC or an Xbox, they're tweeting out about happy with people getting PlayStations. And so it's just weird to say, I don't feel like they are oh yeah, Halo is what we're relying on. No, I think they're just relying on, I don't know, good morale. It's look, we're being really nice.
Yeah.
I hope you forgive us.
That's a good point. I could be wrong there. I know that they want to start, at least from my end, I'm seeing that they're hungry to grab people's attention with first party titles.
Yes.
I think the fact that, they've come out to say that Bethesda titles will most likely be exclusionary to
It's crazy.
Xbox.
I know, it's wild.
And this is just my personal opinion. We very much differ in this, I think, in terms of Xbox, but it definitely makes me think, okay, are they actually trying to play both games? Are they wanting to pull people to their consoles because they have those games?
Yeah.
You can only play the next Elder Scrolls on Xbox.
Gosh, that'll be so crazy.
You can only play the next Wolfenstein on Xbox, whatever it might be.
To me, that's Spider-Man, honestly. If the new Elder Scrolls was exclusive to Xbox, that's how I would feel with the new Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
I'm wow,
sure.
I gotta get a PlayStation.
PlayStation has been playing this game for a lot longer.
Yeah, that's true.
In terms of that exclusivity.
And hitting that Bethesda game. Whew,
yeah.
That's tough.
So, who knows? I agree with you that Xbox is very much doing their own thing. I think in some ways, though, they're still trying to play that exclusive.
No, you're right. You do make good points. And we'll see. It's just time. Time will tell, and we'll learn more about what it is that they're trying to do. And I think theirs is the console that comes out in 9 days. I think theirs is the 9th.
Yeah, I think Series X comes out
Xbox
2 days.
release.
Is it 2 days before?
Oh,
November 15th.
No,
we were off.
that was the original Xbox.
Okay. Never mind. We were not off. It is the 10th.
November 10th.
Yep,
okay,
9
and then
days.
the PS5 release date, I think it's the 12th. Okay,
2
so
days.
there.
Yeah.
So we have the first. What is that? We got.
So the 10th is a Tuesday. PlayStation 5 comes out on a Thursday.
Next Thursday. So next Tuesday, Xbox. Next Thursday will be PlayStation. So yeah, we'll see kind of like their direction. We'll get some more ideas as time passes on. But it's a fun game, Xbox versus Sony, and Sony is still playing hard with some money because 2 episodes ago we talked big money on Microsoft.
Right.
But Max, who's playing the big money ball now?
Well, this might not be big money.
Come on.
$1 billion. So yeah, Sony, this is from IGN, written by Adele Ankers. Sony is aiming to buy Crunchyroll for almost $1 billion. So probably not even $1 billion. Yeah, $957 million to acquire the platform, which has 70 million free members and 3 million paying subscribers.
Wait, that sucks. That ratio is so crap. And all those free members are totally just using ad blocker.
Oh,
So they can't
you better believe they are, man. Are you kidding me? Just to watch it. But I will say, I could be wrong, but I think Crunchyroll, you don't get as high quality as a
You
free
don't.
member.
You can't use
I think
1080p.
Yeah, I think you only get 720.
And you don't get the newest episode until it's either a few
week
days
after.
or a week,
It's like
after.
a week after.
Yeah.
Which, I'm a paying member of Crunchyroll, so I'm one of those 3 million.
It's so funny to me. That's that's nuts.
Yeah, it's such a big difference, but it's good. It gets these shows the clout they deserve. It is kind of exciting because it's scary, but it's also kind of exciting. I'm scared because I feel like if Sony acquires them, that means the subscription price is going to go up. I also wonder what that means for free subscribers. I have no idea. If Sony buys them, it's an all new ball game. They may be about making more money. You never know.
I wonder too on how region exclusive stuff is going to work. I'm not 100% on how it's done. So like if I look up like the original Gundam series from the 70s,
Right.
Mobile Suit, I think, and I could be wrong on this one, but I'm just using this as an example. I could watch that if I was in Japan, but I can't watch that if I'm in America. There's a lot of anime that we could try to look up on in the Americas, but we can't look it up because it's only in Japan. If you try to VPN, because some people can do VPN services to help like geolocate themselves.
Right.
If you use a VPN, they actually will ban you, like IP ban you and like ban your account, and you have to create another one and they'll just ban that one. They're like very hardcore on like, if they know that you're using a VPN, they'll just kick you off and you can't watch it.
Wow.
So I don't know if that is like, I know like Crunchyroll has to acquire rights for their shows and everything, and I guess that's more of on like the anime, they're not developers, but like the people who own the shows and stuff.
Yeah, anime studios.
I wonder if Sony, who is already global company, will this help? Like maybe Crunchyroll is going to get buffed to where
I think
some region stuff might not be locked anymore. Because that's my biggest complaint with Crunchyroll. I was paying for it, but so much old anime that I want to watch, I can't. And every time I Google, does it exist in Japan? It does. And I'm like, ugh, it's annoying because it seems like Crunchyroll is great when you're watching the new seasons. But if I want to go back to even like Blood Orphan or something like that, it's like, oh, it's not on here anymore, but it is still in Japan.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you take it off? That's my biggest complaint. And I hope, and I have a dream that Sony and I guess AT&T, I forgot they work together. I hope if they acquire it, it looks like they're in their final negotiations according to this article. I hope it helps Crunchyroll in a good way. Like I hope it just buffs it up.
I hope it does too. I hope it gives Crunchyroll money to do more original stuff too, because they've kind of delved into doing
that webtoon stuff.
Yeah, the webtoons, and I kind of want them to continue with that because these shows are really good. I really enjoyed Tower of God. I really enjoyed
God of High School.
God of High School, all the gods.
Yeah,
you know,
interesting how they picked those names.
But yeah, it is also kind of cool because Sony previously acquired Funimation.
They did.
Yeah, back in 2017. And so with that,
oh my gosh, and Funimation and Crunchyroll split. That's so funny.
Well, who knows? That to your point, it could be that they combine them again.
They'll bring it back together.
Yeah,
dude,
and just make one central hub for anime.
Yeah,
kind of like how they did with, I think it was like VRV or something for like this few months that they combined them or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, Sony could allow for that to happen, and then it would be it already is, but it may even make it a stronger competitor against Netflix, who has started buffing up their anime tables alongside, you know, Hulu and Amazon Prime. And anime is on the rise. People are loving anime, and I love that because I love anime. I love that it's becoming more mainstream.
Yeah.
And it you know, I'm kind of like you. I like that nostalgic feel. I kind of like that gritty gritty texture of like the old 80s and 90s shows, like
watching like original Dragon Ball.
I miss that stuff, but it's always available to us to watch. I still really love the new stuff. I still find at least 2 to 3 phenomenal masterpiece shows every year. Yeah, and it's really great to just have a show to watch 24 episodes of every season and just be like, that was great. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and I think like because the age group in which anime fans are in, it's just so large, you know, and it's like, so have some old stuff and have that new stuff, you know. Like,
and Funimation has a lot of that old stuff.
They do. So I didn't realize that Sony acquired them. It will be kind of funny. It's totally like what we just talked about with Microsoft acquiring Bethesda. Yeah. Because like they got into those weird cahoots with like Mojang and stuff, and it's like, well, now you guys are partners. Right. And so it's like Funimation and Crunchyroll had this battle royale. They split, and then Sony's just like, well, let's just reel them back in and get them together again.
Yeah, we're gonna do this again. It would make complete sense to me if they put them together.
Dude, you know, it'd be great. Let's just get this Sony PlayStation Plus subscription. Let's include PlayStation Now. Let's include this Crunchyroll streaming. Let's get ourselves something, the free games every month. Dude, bro, I'd buy I still pay it now, but I would. Oh my gosh, that'd be
that's genius.
That would sell.
I agree. It would, and it would give them better competition with Game Pass. Because hey, we're gonna give you like a Netflix style system that has over we're not just 1,000 titles.
You want uwu stuff? We got uwu stuff. Let's bring out the ayayas and give you some anime. That would be awesome.
Play the ayaya.
It played. We just can't hear it.
Awesome.
So that's what I'm talking about. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
It's like Sony, you have your games. We got that uwu stuff. We got the animes. We got the games. We got old games. We got Sly Cooper, which is one of the best games. We got all this stuff. And that would be great.
It would be awesome. And you're right. And it fits the bill for Sony because PlayStation is so anime, it's not even funny.
I know.
You know, like, you know what I mean? Like
all the games.
That's why I always that's why I went to PlayStation, is because they had all the JRPGs, they had all the like the cool like 13 Sentinels and all that jazz. And yeah, I'm psyched. I'm psyched.
I know. It will be fun. And I guess just continuing on with some more PlayStation stuff, which we have a few news about it.
Great transition.
We saw some new gameplay footage. Yes. So we saw some gameplay footage. The two main ones that I liked was the Demon Souls gameplay, and we saw some more like suits for Miles Morales, and there was like another kind of like gameplay footage of that one.
Yeah.
So we know we're big Spider-Man fans, so we'll save that one for last. Okay. Demon Souls. Did you watch that one?
Yes, it looks incredible.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed by Blue Point. They are unbelievable. Like, I want them to remake everything. Can you remake Sly Cooper, Devious Raccoonus, please?
Don't play with my heart,
because that would be gosh. Like, if not that, remake Ratchet and Clank. Remake.
Oh, stop! You're killing me.
Jack and Daxter. Just. They are masters at remaking these games, and I get so excited every time they release one because it makes me hyped for what they're gonna release next. And they did such a fantastic job with Shadow of Colossus, with Spyro. Wait, I don't know if Spyro was them. It might have been. I'm not sure if Blue Point did Spyro actually. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on that one.
Remake Ty the Tasmanian. Get the heck out of here, Peter.
There was this video which I don't think I can show. I'm not sure if I can show it on YouTube and live and all that kind of stuff. I'm not 100% sure on how YouTube works, so I will, at least for those watching, we'll have all the links. And we are live again. We've been live for 29 minutes again. It came back up.
What?
I know.
No, I knew that.
So there was like this video that the guy's name is CYCU1, and he just he shows like a comparison of the intro for like here's the from a PS3 Demon Souls, and he runs down and he attacks a few monsters, and then his transitions are actually amazing. I really encourage watching this because as he like goes into the rift, it then transitions into the new game. It was really beautifully done.
That's awesome.
And so he then shows the same gameplay from the new like trailer that we saw and stuff.
It just looks like a completely different game.
It does.
Like,
I mean, the mechanics are definitely going to feel smoother for sure.
Oh yeah.
And then like the looks of it is just so it's so enhanced, and like I'm not surprised. That's one thing. I mean, this is just where we're at.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to it with Peter, and he was like, "Dude, are you like blown away right now?" Like I'm so like blown away, and I was like, you know, I was like, yeah, like I like this. It's good, but I was like, I'm not blown away in the sense of I'm not surprised. Like this is just where we are.
Yeah.
This is graphically. I'm like, yeah, this is it.
We are able to get to at this
And
point.
like the shadows, the lighting, and they show that big.
So good, dude.
They show the big like ogre boss towards the end, wherever it is. But I definitely encourage watching the video. It's 9 minutes long. It has a really cool showing the like the befores and afters and stuff, and it looks really fun. And I haven't been too excited about these games in a while. Like I played Demon Souls originally, and it is my favorite out of the list of them.
You like it better than Dark Souls?
I do. Yeah, I just like. I don't know. Maybe it was just like a nostalgia thing. One of those like it's just the OG, so I like it more, or whatever.
Yeah,
it just like it was really fun for like the time frame it came out.
So.
I do still play RuneScape, and like Dark Souls 3 was great, you know, and Dark Souls 2 was cool, and 1 was fine, and then like I've liked the Bloodborne series. Well, something about Demon Souls, and I've noticed that through other interviews that I've seen of like other YouTubers and stuff. Like
Sure.
There's a guy, I don't know if you know him, Delrith. He's part of like Angry Joe's crew. He's the guy with the big beard.
Oh yeah.
So he loves Demon Souls. And he was talking about too like how he's excited because Demon Souls was one of his first like of this style, and it was like a major game to him. And that's like how I'm feeling. Like I played this game. It was the first time I played a game that was this like hard like this, of just like brutal, like you're dead, good luck, figure it out kind of thing. So it'll be fun to see it in a remastered state, especially because like there's some mechanics that definitely could have been improved, which they had improved throughout the years. Yeah. So it'll be cool to be able to see that. And I'm curious to see like if they'll put anything new, like what they will. Like, is there going to be some new like hidden stuff, some new like future DLCs or something like that? Like what else are they going to try to do with this, you know? Like so it'll be cool to see.
Yeah, I wonder if there'll be any new they normally don't.
It is typically the same, which is fine. I mean, if it's not broke, why
don't fix it.
Yeah, so they'll be curious. I'm excited. It is a day one launch, which is cool. So it will come out on the 12th for any one of you that is lucky enough to get the PlayStation 5 on launch. You will have the ability to also play it on launch, as well as Spider-Man. Those are the 2 launch titles, right?
There's a few more, but those are the 2
major.
Those are the 2 of major.
Is Sackboy a launch one?
I think so.
I'm actually curious about that one too. I've always liked Little Big Planet.
I never really got into them,
so
but for me, Miles Morales was always going to be my go-to if I bought this day one.
Yeah.
And I mean, just Insomniac is they just are so good. They give so much content. The suits look so great, and really that was the other thing we wanted to talk on is
the Spider-Man
new features they've shown of the new suits. They have now included the Spider-Verse suit,
yep.
Which any of you out there that have not seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, stop what you're doing, go on Netflix and watch this movie. It is unbelievable. This is a great Spider-Man film. Anyway, what they've done here is they added the Spider-Verse suit into the game they not only included it into the game, they changed the frame rate around the suit so that it looks like a comic book.
To be like the movie was. But the rest of the world is moving in the same frame rate of nuts.
60 frames per second.
Yep.
And I've never seen a game do this. Like, well, I shouldn't say that. I've probably seen it before, but not to this scale. Where like you as a person, no matter where you are in this world, have that like jagged kind of frame rate, but everything else is moving as
it's cool. It's unique.
It looks so cool. It kind of reminds me of in the first game, the suit that's like the original Spider-Man like comic book where it's like kind of cell shaded. It kind of reminds me of that, but
improved.
Yeah, and like it makes me super excited. Plus, I can't wait to play in Manhattan with snow and at Christmas time. I mean, come on. I mean,
so one thing I was wondering, which I thought this was more of just like a daydream that I had. I was like, man, you know how in like Ghost of Tsushima you had that overlay that you could play it like the original like Japanese films and stuff?
Yes, the black and white.
How cool would it have been if it had like an overlay like that of like all just like the comic book style? Because like my first playthrough would have just been nice, beautiful, like original, you know. But then if I ever were wanting to play the game again, I would totally have turned on like a cell shaded comic book overlay and have the whole game, and like when you attack it like POWs and all that kind of stuff. Like I would have, that'd be so cool if that was the feature to say, because replayability wise, it would totally feel like a different game. Because you're like, so the storyline's the same, but like the look is different, and like, that would have been so cool. Because I thought that's what it was gonna be at first, because when I was seeing it I was like, oh, his suit is there, and I wasn't necessarily paying attention to the other parts, and I was like, wow, is this like an overlay? Because Ghost of Tsushima just did it. Are they doing it too? And then I realized it was just the suit.
It's just the suit.
And I was like, okay, that's still dope, but man, that would have been awesome if it was like a whole like, oh, the whole world is now in this comic book. Play it like that, which is probably insane to do that, but man, that would have been so cool.
That would have been really cool. And who knows? I mean, I don't know if they would do it, actually. It'd be kind of cool if they did like a patch later on and just being like, hey, new like mode to play in for New Game Plus or something, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
It'd be cool.
But that was the main thing that they showed, was just like the new outfit and stuff. And of course, you can, you know, if you just go onto like YouTube and you look up like Spider-Man Miles Morales, we haven't talked about it, at least on the podcast, but a month ago, PlayStation had their like gameplay demo. It's about 7 minutes long. You see Miles Morales fighting on like a bridge and kind of like showing that it's very similar to Spider-Man now as far as like gameplay goes, but it's showing like here's Miles's powers, here's some new stuff you haven't seen. You still got the whole like you can swing in webs and mid-battle and do all that cool stuff, but at least it's like
they haven't reinvented the wheel at all.
No,
like they definitely added more fighting
to the kit and
styles, to the kit, exactly. But it's just more Spider-Man, which I want more of, so I'm happy for it.
Yeah, I'm glad they did that. So that'll be cool. And then I think, let me see, PS5 games gameplay. There was a couple other ones that had some videos come out recently. Well, I guess not too recently, but Batman Gotham Knights has some gameplay out that you can see. There was this one game that I saw. No Man's Sky talked about a new update that they're having. And then this game is also going to be part of Sony's lineup in the PlayStation 5.
That's cool.
So they're having another update, which, you know, after their first initial launch, they've been doing amazing. All their updates have been free. They've been amazing content.
That's good.
So you can check out those videos for No Man's Sky. It looks really cool. The new update is definitely going to bring some pretty dope looking stuff. Cool. They showed some of the no, that's not. This is some GTA live thing on YouTube. They showed some of their racing games footages. So there's been a few games recently that if you just go into YouTube and look up PlayStation 5 new gameplay footage, you'll see some videos out there. So it's exciting. We're in that time frame.
We are.
We're only 9 days away. We're a week and some days.
We're about to have a lot of news to cover. Just reviews and seeing how these games do, how the tech does. It's about to be a really exciting time for games this fall or this winter.
Yeah, I wish we were able to like get it to see how they are. I mean, you're getting Miles Morales on the PS4? You're not waiting?
Is it going to be on the PS4?
Is it only PS5? Oh, I thought it was.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe it is only PS5. I'm not.
I thought it was only
sure
PS5. I'm gonna wait.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Either way, even if it comes out on PS4, I'm gonna wait till I get the PS5. There's almost no point other than Cyberpunk and me buying any more PS4 games.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking of Cyberpunk. Yeah, no, it will be exclusive. Which I wish we were able to get our hands on it to talk about it, but we'll at least be able to kind of see how things are going in the public. It'll probably both games, Demon Souls and Spider-Man, will probably be received really well.
Yes,
I'm not going to be surprised if it's so. It'll be more surprising if it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Which, man, that podcast would suck. So let's not hope about that. Yep. But what we can do is tell you all what we recommend that we think is dope.
Ooh, before that though, should we talk about what's been released this week or the last 2 weeks?
Oh, I forgot about those. Yeah, we always talk about the new games that were released.
I actually have a list pulled up right there.
Sweet.
If I was smart. I feel like I feel like in the coming weeks there's going to be a plethora of great games to play, so I just want to make sure everyone has these games on their radar. I'm just going to pull them up on my phone here real quick for this period. So a lot of great games have come out, I would say, in the past few days that I definitely want people to be aware of. Some of those being The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel 4, which I'll get into.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'll get into in a minute here. But phenomenal JRPG series. I put it in my top 3 alongside Persona and Dragon Quest. Mm-hmm. The world building in these games is unbelievable. I'll talk more on that later. And then we got, I think, coming on here, let me find it. I know No More Heroes 1 and 2 was released on Nintendo Switch yesterday, I believe. And if you've never played the No More Heroes games, I highly recommend them. They're really fun, really bonkers games because it's Suda 51. Of course, they're bonkers. But they're a lot of fun. And people should play them because No More Heroes 3 is coming out on Switch. And you should definitely give them a shot. And then what else I found that I thought people might want to be aware of. Let me see here. I'm having trouble pulling it up, but I'm just trying to think.
Oh, games that came out this week?
Yeah, games that came out this week. Those were the 3 major ones I wanted to touch on. Oh, yeah. Watch Dogs Legion.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. The game that no one's really talking about.
Really talking about. I've never really been into the Watch Dogs games, but if you like those, that's out.
Yeah. So we got The Dark Pictures, Little Hope on the PlayStation 4. Watch Dogs Legion on the PlayStation 4. Ghost Runner, also on the PS4.
Hey, Trails of Cold Steel 4, 10 points higher than Watch Dogs Legion.
Oh, snap.
On Metacritic.
Raise the Dead on PS4. And then for Xbox One, we have The Dark Pictures, Little Hope again, Legion, Pumpkin Jack, Transformers Battlegrounds, Scourgebringer.
Like Nightmare Before Christmas?
Doesn't look that good.
Oh.
And then on the Switch, we have Angry Video Game Nerd 1 and 2 Deluxe, Umihara Kawase Bazooka, Mad Rat Dead, Pikmin 3 Deluxe, Ocean Horn 2, Knights of the Lost Realm.
They made a sequel?
They did.
Wow.
And then on PC, again, we have The Dark Pictures, Watch Dogs, Pacer, Transient, Ghost Runner as well, and some iOS stuff such as Genshin Impact, Community Heroes, World's End Club, Tom Clancy's Elite Squad, and Eve Echoes.
Wow, you did a much better job with that than I.
So those have been the games that have come out this week across the consoles, then, which goes into the games we've been playing. Because Max, what did you play this? Well, what did you try to play this week?
This is a quick story. So Trails of Cold Steel 4 just came out last Tuesday, the 27th, and I have been looking forward to this game for months. I love this series. Legend of Heroes is what the overarching name of the series is called. These games are some of the best JRPGs I've ever played. The world building is on another level.
So what kind of world, like when you say world building, what do you mean by that?
So what I mean by that is that even though this is called Trails of Cold Steel 4, it is really the 9th game in this overarching series called Legend of Heroes. Basically, what I mean by world building is what Falcom, which is the company that makes these games, has decided to do is they kind of wanted to build this giant 20-year adventure. We're only 50% through it. They're planning to make 18 games of one huge continent on this world.
Okay.
And each saga takes place in one of the countries in that continent, but they're all in the same world. They all interconnect. And so at some point, the heroes that you played in a country in one game may be foes of the heroes you play in another country in the other 4 games, or they might be allies.
Is that all based on like game saves and stuff that they can do that?
No, it's all like just their story. The game's very linear. Like you don't.
Oh, it's not like your decisions.
No, nothing
Gotcha.
like that.
Okay.
It's very much like Persona or Final Fantasy, where it's just linear. There's a lot of character development and there's a lot of story, but it's you're following one story. You don't really have control over what happens. Okay. Which is fine with me. I like those kind of games.
Yeah.
And you know, these games are. I would say like it's like Game of Thrones style writing in terms of the world politics, the world wars, but not as gruesome. Like these games are very anime. Okay. Like probably the most anime JRPG I've ever played.
Oh wow,
that's saying something. Yeah,
like over Persona.
Over Persona. Yeah.
Wow. I think it's anime as heck.
Yeah, it's anime as heck, and I love every second of it. It's very much friendship is power kind of thing, you know. But to kind of give some context to this. Trails of Cold Steel. This is the final game of this saga, and takes place in the country of Erebonia, which is the biggest country on this continent. It has the most military power, and so over the course of these 4 games, you play as these kids. Started out as kids. By the end of this game, they're all adults that have kind of been raised to become the elite soldiers of their country to fight the wars against Crossbell, against Liberl, against Calvard, which are the neighboring countries, and to really just make Erebonia the great nation that it should be. You know, we've seen it all before. But over, of course, the course of these 4 games, you kind of see the dark underbelly of the country, what the powers that be are trying to make happen for the world, and your characters become the heroes that rise to stop it. And they are actually allying with characters that come from the previous games and have now been put into these games, and you get to play as them again, and you get to fight alongside them. And the gameplay is very turn-based, but the progression, the leveling progression, enemies kind of progress with you, so you never have to worry about grinding. You constantly are leveling at the fast pace that you're supposed to be. You have over almost 40 playable characters. The roster of characters rises each game. And you just kind of can pick and choose who you want to play as depending on which character you love most. Yeah. But everyone still levels with you. And so like it's one of the best battle systems I've ever seen in an RPG. The writing is excellent. I know I've already said that. I will say though that it is a very hard game to recommend because the entry level is staggering. You know, these games started in 2004 with the Trails of Sky series, which are 3 games that you can only play on PC or a PSP if you still have it. The next 2 games are Trails of Zero, which take place in the country of Crossbell, that you can't even play in America right now unless you like buy the Japanese version and download an English patch, which millions are doing. Yeah. And I will say these games are picking up traction because of Cold Steel. These Cold Steel games have been the most popular, and so you know it's kind of driving Falcom to be like, okay, well, I could see them releasing the Crossbell games probably on PS4 next year maybe.
PS5.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, they're old games like like Digimon World 3. Yeah, it's that same kind of style of like graphic, like pixel kind of thing. But it looks great. I mean, the games are awesome. And so I've been playing Trails of Cold Steel 4. There was a cluster with the pre-order. I pre-ordered this game and I could not download it the day it came out. I've never seen this happen before. And NIS America, it literally took them 48 hours to fix it so that I could download it and finally play it.
So what'd you end up having to do? I heard that you had to like cancel it, get money back, and then buy it again.
Yeah, I don't think everyone had to do this, but what I had to do was I was on the phone with like Sony, and they were like, yeah, you got to cancel your pre-order. We'll refund you the amount immediately. Buy it again, and then you can download it, and it'll be fine. And I've never seen this happen before, and I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, so people who pre-ordered the game
People
couldn't download it.
The biggest fans of the
digitally.
game could
Yeah.
not play it day one.
And then people who were just like, "Oh, what's this game? I'll just buy it." They got to play
Download it
it.
and they were able to.
That is so funny.
It was so ridiculous, and but yeah. So I'm loving it.
It's good.
It's so good. I mean, yeah. I can't. I'm trying to get Peter into these games. I hope one day to show you these games, because I truly feel like these games are a JRPG series that deserves attention.
Yeah.
Deserves to be among the throes of like Final Fantasy, Persona, Dragon Quest. These games are unbelievably good.
Yeah.
And no one knows about them, and it drives me insane.
Well, it's exciting that you're playing it. Glad to see like how you feel when it comes to its end and the resolution. So I'm excited to hear some more about how everything goes.
And then we move on to the next country, because there's still 9 games to come. So
it'll just keep on going. And so I'm playing right now RuneScape again, because RuneScape launched, they call it Leagues 2. So I've been playing RuneScape since 2005.
Okay.
I started RuneScape, and the account that I'm playing now, I created in 2008. So my original account I don't play anymore, but this account I've been playing for 12 years now. So the way it's worked, RuneScape's had a very interesting path. So I guess I'll explain that a little bit. So you had RuneScape, the game that people remember as a kid. That is the RuneScape game, right? So RuneScape was made, and through updates and patches and all that kind of stuff, it became what it is called now RS3. So something called the Evolution of Combat hit RuneScape. RuneScape is a online MMO. It's an RPG. It's a point and click game that you play on the PC or mobile nowadays, which I can talk about that. So it is an all, a fully massive world. You have skills. You can practice combat, range, magic. There's fishing and cooking and smithing, mining, hunting, all these different types of skills. There's bossing. You can do person versus person stuff. There's your typical MMO style gameplay. So RuneScape became RS3. Combat was different. It was no longer this like point and click. They started adding skills. It was all just very odd in my opinion. And a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people weren't enjoying how that game was going. So they created something called Old School RuneScape, which took the RuneScape from 2007, which was still that original style of it, and they brought it back. So they brought it back. I feel like it's been about 6 years now, maybe 6 or 7 years that they brought it back. And so the Old School RuneScape server is one, and then you have RuneScape 3 as the other. Those are their two kind of major games that they have going on.
Okay.
So on the Old School realm, that's the one that I play. They made something called Leagues, and what Leagues is, it's about 2 months long. You go into a certain world where your account goes back to level 1. Now, it's not your main account, so you don't lose anything.
Okay.
It's just for this 2-month period. If you play on League 2 specific worlds, you'll have a character there, and EXP rates are boosted, so it's like 8 times the EXP. But you have the entire realm of Gielinor, and it's becoming from March 2013. Oh, I was right, about 7 years.
Wow.
And so you start in one little zone, and as you do tasks, and these tasks are like, they could be something as simple as light a fire to something as difficult as complete this boss that has crazy hard drops and all this kind of stuff. And you get points and you complete tasks. And as you do it, you get to unlock different zones. And when you unlock those different zones, they have different parts. So for example, when you start out, you have a place called Lumbridge, which is like the place that everybody remembers when you play RuneScape. You have Varrock and a few other places. Now, if you want to, you can complete tasks to unlock, let's say, Falador and like all the things that come with that. Or you can unlock a different place. You can only unlock 5 places out of the total, I think 9 or 7 of them.
Okay.
So however you decide to do your leagues might be totally different than somebody else.
Interesting.
Like you might decide to go, I want to go in, I'll say some zone names that you might understand, but you might say like, okay, my first zone, I want to unlock Kandarian, then I want to unlock Asgarnia, and then I want to unlock Mauritania. Those are the 3 zones you unlock. Whereas maybe on mine, I'm like, no, I'm going to unlock Fremnik and like Truanwan and Asgarnia. Like these are the zones I want to play in.
Yeah.
And so it's totally crazy because one, again, EXP rates are wild. I'm like almost people are getting max accounts already, and the game it's only been out for like a few days, which is so funny to me. That's just how the XP rates are just like increasing so much. And so there's like fun challenges. You play as an Iron Man, which means you have to do everything yourself. There's no player trading. You can see other players, but you can't trade with them. You can't buy stuff on the Grand Exchange, which is like an auction house.
Okay.
If I want to get a rune sword, I got to find it as a drop, or I got to buy it from some store if I've unlocked the zone. If I want to, like, say I need a potion, you know, and I have to find out how to make that potion. If I don't have the level to make it, I got to get the level to make it. I got to then find the stuff to make that potion. If I want food, I got to either go and fish my own food and then cook it. It's crazy. It's really fun, though. And the Iron Man mode specifically has been what I've been the most interested in.
Right.
And I feel like the way I'm playing Leagues is to just give me that taste of what it's like. Because I've always played RuneScape where I can trade with other players. And money is like a big thing of like, oh, if I want to get this new weapon, I got to get like 50 million coins to be able to buy it. Whereas in Iron Man, if I want to get this weapon, I got to get it as a drop.
Yeah.
I got to go to this monster. I might kill it 6,000 times before I finally get it. But when you get it, it's like that reward. You're like, oh my gosh,
It's that drug.
I've done this for 40 hours and I finally got it. And so it's like Leagues in a way is giving me a taste of like how it's like as the Iron Man.
Okay.
And it's exciting for me because they say they're supposed to launch a thing called Group Man Iron Man, where you have like a team of upwards to 5 people where you actually share a bank together and you can trade just amongst your little self. You're like a little group.
Oh, nice.
So let's
like
say
a guild that you're in.
Exactly. So if you and I played together, let's just say, maybe you went out and maybe you're the cooker of the group and I'm the fisher.
Right.
So I fished, because maybe we're on different play times of when we can do. So maybe I'll go out and fish. I fished like 1,000 lobsters. I put it in our bank. I log off and then you log on. You're the cooker. So you're like, oh, here's my lobsters. You can go and cook them. And then put them back in our bank, and we both can use this like shared assets, so to speak.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it's like it's still Iron Man because we won't be able to use a Grand Exchange. We can't trade with other people's outside of our little realm, and it's still, if we want to get an item, we got to get it ourselves.
Right.
But it's not as like being solo is pretty tough. Maybe as a group. Because sometimes some people's luck is just better than others. So who knows? Maybe you're the one that gets the 1 in 5,000 drop after kill 2, and I'm over here struggling at kill 10,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm playing right now. It's called Leagues 2, an old school RuneScape. It's been really fun. I've put a lot of hours in it. I'm planning on playing it whenever we're done with this, just because it's been really fun.
Nice.
So that is the major game that I'm playing right now.
Cool. I like it. Well, I guess we can finish out with entertainment of the week.
Entertainment. I think did last week you do a book? I think you did the book last week.
I did a book last week. Yeah.
So now this week I have a book.
Ooh.
So the book that I recommend, which I will post it into the chat, and obviously all the links will be in videos later on. The book that I'm recommending is called Ascendant, a Dragon Rider Fantasy. It is the first book. We looked it up, came out September 1st of this year.
Cool.
And it is, I forgot his name. It is by Michael R. Miller, who he seems like a pretty young author. He's done about 7 other books, maybe including this one though. So he's done some other books, and this book is about, how do I describe it? It's kind of like if How to Train Your Dragon was a little bit more mature. So you have this realm and this world where like hierarchy is a thing. Okay. You have the nobility obviously at the top, and then you have like your more commoners at the bottom.
The peasants.
Yeah, and so in this society, status matters, right? So you're a blacksmith, you're a butcher, you're the hunter, or you're the cook.
Okay.
And in this one, and then you have dragon riders. And dragon riders are like above nobility. They're like the top of the top.
Oh.
So in this society, you follow this guy named Holt. Or he's a kid, actually. And he is part of the Cooks. And the Cook clan group, I don't necessarily know how they kind of define themselves. His dad is the master chef. And he has people who work with him who are also cooks. Okay. But Holt himself, like his name is Cook. It's like Holt Cook. They are like the Cook family. and they cook for the dragon riders.
Okay.
So the way that it works is that these dragons can communicate with their riders and their riders with them, and they have immense powers. They're still dragons. They're like any other dragon. Some can breathe fire, maybe some have like special powers and things like that. And so these cooks cook massive meals for these dragons because depending on their abilities, certain meals appeal to them. So if you're like a fire dragon, you really like, I think they say like lamb or something. And so for generations, these cooks have been doing this. However, they're just cooks. They're not like, because they cook for nobility doesn't make them that high. They're very low on this totem pole. Okay. And so you follow Holt, who is a teenager who's always dreamed of becoming a rider. And through unforeseen circumstances, he finds out about how dragons are treated. And that is newborn dragons, specifically those who are being like hatchlings, so eggs of dragons.
Yeah.
He discovers something, and because of it, it traumatizes him a little bit, and he steals an egg, one that is meant to be thrown away per se. He steals this egg. Of course, the egg hatches, and out pops a dragon.
Right.
Because of this, their bond begins. So now you're living this life, and there's some other crazy drama that I won't get into because it's so cool. There's a lot of like crazy plot twist about it. Like the whole storyline is a huge plot twist of like what his adventure is like. But so he makes this bond with this dragon.
Yep.
And he's the first cook to ever make a bond. Pretty sure he's the youngest based off of what I could tell. The other riders were definitely older, and I think the youngest at the time was still older than Holt is. I think he's around 15 or 14.
Yeah.
So he's definitely the youngest. He's the most non-noble of any of them. And so he struggles a lot throughout the book of like, when someone sees them, they see him with this dragon, and they always approach these riders saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, honored rider." That's how they approach people. And so people are calling him honored rider, and in his mind, he's like, would they still say that if they knew I was a cook?
Yeah.
Like just the other day, I was in rags, but now because of something, he was wearing nicer clothes because something happened. And he's like, would they treat me the same? So he battles a lot of that because he knows that the reason of why he's a rider, you're supposed to train for it, and you're supposed to be kind of born into it. That's how a lot of this hierarchy works.
Yeah, very.
You were supposed to be like a novice. You were supposed to be kind of like a squire, I think is what they say. So squires are those who are in military and they train to become a rider, and then when they get that rite of passage, they get their dragon right. He did the opposite. He just stole one, and some stuff happened, and
I
so
just took it.
Exactly. So that's what this book is about. You follow his story as well as two other main characters. But it's the first book of this series. It says it is book 1. So I'm definitely super excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to finish it and then be eager for book 2. I definitely recommend it. Like I said, to me, it feels like this How to Train Your Dragons. It was just more serious because there's like death and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, for sure.
It definitely has that.
It sounds like it's a mix between How to Train Your Dragon and like, I don't know if you ever read like the Aragon books.
Yes.
But
yeah.
Like that kind of bond.
It does.
Do the dragons, can you tell me this? Can the dragons speak? Can they like speak
They can.
to their
Telepathy.
owner?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So it has that bond.
I think I would like this.
It's very cool. And they can speak to other riders. So like riders do have magical powers. Okay. Whenever they bond with a dragon, they can pull from its core. Yeah, and they pull from their magic. And so as the dragon gets stronger, it can talk to other riders. Mm-hmm. It can already just talk to the owner because that's where the bond is.
Right.
But like more experience riders can also be talked to from dragons, so there is some of that as well. But yeah, it's all like a telepathy type of deal of how that works. So no like commoner or anyone other than a rider can hear them. They just hear roars.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, as a rider, he does talk. His dragon's called Ash, and so he talks to him constantly. And there's some cool things about the evolution of this dragon, and it's so good. It's really cool. So I posted it in our chat on the live, and again, it'll all be on the descriptions of all our videos and whatnot.
Very cool.
So that is my recommendation. And Max, I see what yours is.
Yes. So kind of going back to Trails of Cold Steel, I originally was going to recommend the first of the 4 Trails of Cold Steel games, just because it's the first game to actually jump into that 3D realm on PS3 and PS Vita. But honestly, now that I've played Cold Steel 3 and now Cold Steel 4 and seeing all the new not new, but characters they've brought from the previous games and the previous sagas, I can't recommend it because you would just have no idea what's going on.
Gotcha.
Like no idea who these people are, how they connect, and the game doesn't hold your hand.
Gotcha.
Like it'll give you like some backstory. Like on the main menu of all of these games, there's a backstory icon that you can hit, and it'll give you like a brief synopsis of like the previous games, but nothing to the extent that like you would get the most out of the dialogue exchanges between these characters and some of the new ones. And so because of that, I am recommending my recommendation for this week is the very first game in the Legend of Heroes universe, titled The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. And this is, you can only get it on Steam or on PC. You probably can't get it somewhere else other than Steam. But it's a phenomenal game. All these games are phenomenal, top tier. And so this is the beginning of the entire journey of Legends of Heroes. And basically with this, you are in the country of Liberl, which is the probably in terms of the country, or the continent, I should say, is the least military advanced country. They are very well advanced when it comes to airships and stuff in the sky, hence the name Trails in the Sky. It gave me the vibe of Skies of Arcadia. I don't know if you ever played that on GameCube, but you follow the characters of Estelle and Joshua, these 2 young kids. Very much the hero's journey of Estelle as this young girl that wants to become a bracer, which bracers are mercenaries that don't really have any allegiance to really any country. Their only goal is to defend the common people, the public, from any military action that's taking place in between the countries themselves. And Joshua is a boy with a very dark past who becomes friends with Estelle, and he goes through a very traumatic event that kind of launches and ignites this war that is even going on into Trails of Cold Steel 4. And so this is kind of the game that starts that whole impact. And as the games go on, you start to see the organizations behind the scenes that are kind of manipulating everything that's going on, all the events in this world, to bring about the thing that they want to bring about. But this game it's old. It's a 2004 game, but the game battle system is very fun. With any game that has any kind of turn-based RPG elements, I love that with the releases on the PC, they brought in a high-speed mode, so you can kind of have that
zoom or fast forward.
Yeah, you have that fast forward capability when you're fighting, which is a huge help. I always use that. And these games are just addicting. I recommended this to Peter. I recommend it to you if you like JRPGs. If you love Persona, if you love Final Fantasy, you will love these games, and I highly recommend them. But yeah, I would say start here. I cannot recommend these games higher, but you do want to start at the beginning and then watch some kind of plot synopsis of the Crossbell games if you plan to play all the way up to Cold Steel 4 and beyond as we keep moving forward.
Yeah. Awesome. I like it. I think it'll be a good way to get people kind of into the universe, so to speak, of the games. You talked highly on Cold Steel 4, so I think it'll be cool to definitely check them out. JRPGs, that's a big genre for people. It's like if you like it, you love JRPGs.
Yeah.
And so if you're one of those and you love them, I would definitely take Max's word. He knows his JRPGs.
I do.
So yeah, The Legend of Heroes, Trails in the Sky. Awesome. Well, as we kind of mentioned in the beginning, we do have some pretty exciting news. I do want to just say thank you to everyone who has been here during this first live stream before we get into the good news. So Max and I guess just to kind of describe what was going on. So Max and I were trying to figure out how we can be able to stream separately. The way we have been doing these podcasts now is I've been using a different microphone, and we've been just kind of like sitting and
just like this,
just like this. And so what we wanted to do was to have a more, direct audio feed to ourselves. We also wanted to have like a little nicer of a camera situation, but also comfort of our own homes, because we do record these a little bit later in the day. We're both full-time employees, and we want to make sure, like, Max has his kid. We want to make sure that he's able to help put him to sleep, and then the drive from his house to mine and then back, it takes up some time. So we were wanting to figure out how we can do this from our homes to just help improve the quality of the podcast. So today we did a trial where Max just sat into a different room in the house, and he had his feed. So we have it in the beginning. If you're watching this on YouTube, you've already seen it in the early stages, and if you're listening, I apologize. It has been a cluster.
It's fine. That's what trial runs are for.
I know. And so he was in the other room. We were trying it out, and for whatever reason, the Wi-Fi hit first, and our Wi-Fi just took a jump on our chest. And so his computer just shut down as far as internet goes. So we lost the feed. Then we were doing okay. We're still recording at least, which is why the YouTube video is going well. Then all of a sudden our internet just broke and the stream went down. We've been recording for 2 hours, but the stream's only been on for an hour. So we had all these issues. So I do want to just say I appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah. This podcast means a lot to the both of us. We've been putting a lot of effort trying to make some good enhancements to it. And so with that, Max, what is the exciting news we can tell people?
So for those that have been dedicated followers for our first 4 episodes, you may have noticed that we skipped last week. There is a reason for that. We are trying to get this podcast out there, and so that we gain more followers, more viewers, so that they can join if they so wish. And in so doing, over the last 2 weeks, we set up our own RSS feed.
Yeah.
And we are now available under Calling All Nerds in both Spotify and iTunes Podcast, where you can find us on both of those platforms. We are on YouTube as well, of course, still. We are starting to do this Twitch live feed, so you can see our wonderful faces. And we can make faces now, which I'm really excited about because I do that all the time. But I'm just really excited. I'm excited this week to kind of promote that on my Instagram, on my Facebook. I know you like on your stuff as well. But it is just excellent that even after just 4 episodes, we're just continuing to accumulate on this, that we are available on most major platforms now. And hopefully we just keep being able to do this and bring you guys great content, bring us things that we like to talk about. And this is such a great outlet for me, and I'm thankful for it. This is such a passion for me because I don't have a lot of people that I can talk to video games about. My wife kind of glazes over when I talk about this stuff, so this is kind of great. And so like if you're listening to us on YouTube, if you have a long commute to work, if you're a podcast listener in general, find us on Spotify, follow us there, follow us on iTunes, give us a review, whatever it might be.
Love to get some reviews. That'd be great.
If you guys are just watching on YouTube, punch that notification bell, subscribe, give us a like, whatever you want to do.
And let us know what we could improve.
Yeah, exactly. You can reach us at callingallnerdsalert@gmail.com for any reviews, any kind of comments that you may have for our show, what you'd like us to possibly do in the future. We have some next goals that we want to do to just give this show even more of a boost than what we have already done. But so far, we've just been enjoying the ride, and we hope it goes somewhere big. But we'll see. If not, I'll still enjoy doing it anyway. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, if there's ever any additional podcast sites, me and Max know a lot about the Apple and the Spotify, but maybe there's some other podcast sites that we can post to. Like we said, we have our feed now, so if there's any suggestions on those or anything like that, much appreciated. And we thank you guys very much for tuning in. We hope that quality just continues to improve and that we just keep on doing more fun things. We're very thankful for this ability. And so I think with that, we're good. I think episode 5 of the first ever live stream has been concluded.
The episode 5 go live.
Episode 5 go live.
Read it and we put it in the books.
Oh boy.
We'll look back on this one day and cringe.
But also cringe and laugh and be proud. I will have a tear.
Yeah. You'll have a tier?
Probably.
Oh man. Okay.
Seeing us in the future when we're, so famous and we're given PS6s before they come out.
PS6s.
I can't wait for that day.
Oh man, who knows? Who knows? Maybe one day.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much. I hope you have a good rest of your days.
Yes.
We'll see you all later.
Stay frosty.
Peace.
Bye guys.